Okay, so to pull up the overlay, okay, here's what you're going to want to do. ZL, ZR, down. This is the overlay. Now, sysclick OC is where you overclock, right? So if I go into here, which right now I'm downloading, so I probably need to turn on airplane mode so it doesn't lag, you know, there. Otherwise, it's just going to lag. So you can set global profile, which I like to, for the global, set my memory at max. It doesn't take very much power. It's basically just free. Stock memory is 1600. Now you're going to notice in yours, it won't show higher than 2133. I'm going to show you how to fix that. Okay. So here's what you want to do. If you tab right, you get this other menu. Okay. SC Wizard. That's what we want. Now you're going to want to configure it as such. For the CPU, undervolt level, set to 2. High frequency undervolt level, just leave it 0. Low frequency voltmin, just leave unset. High frequency voltmin, I set at 850, that's the default. It's probably already set there. Volt limit, I have it at 1160, that's the highest it goes. But, you know, now boost clock by default is 1785. You could boost that up a bit. Maybe go 1887, you know, just to have a little higher boost during load times and stuff. Now, for GPU, again, undervolt level of 2. I didn't do any offset. The speedo, however, that's where you need to know what your GPU speedo is, which is why you needed to look that up in Hecate first, right? So you have your CPU speedo, GPU speedo, and your SoC speedo. We just need the GPU speedo here, okay? This one's a pretty bad one. Girl who robbed me got my other good switch that had 16 something speedo, but it ranges anywhere from 1500 to 1800, right? So 1650 and better is considered good, right? But even if it's not, it's fine. Volts auto, okay. Volt limit, I just set to 800, which is default. You can go higher, right? The system default is 1050, but I set to 800, okay? GPU scheduling, leave that off. I did not unlock 1305 megahertz. And the custom volt table, we can leave this as is for now, okay? Now, for RAM, you can set max clock. I did 2400 originally for my other one, but for this one, I was getting a little bit of instability, so I just bumped it down to 23, okay? If your speedo is 1620 or higher, go for 2400. If you're under that, I'd say go for 23. If you're really low, like 1500, maybe just do 22, okay? This one, I set to 1200, you know, because this one's 600. Didn't set this one. Now the timings, okay? It's set to auto adjust, but here's what you want. Don't mess with the first 3. Here's what you want. You want to set this one to 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4. Now there's no guarantee these are going to work for you, but they've worked for me. So give it a shot, okay? When you're done, you need to reboot, but before you do, hit B to back out, go to backup. You can manage your backups. You can see I already created a backup and there's a default. You want to create a backup, okay? That way you can restore here. And I would even recommend Yeah, delete it. I would even recommend creating a back. Well, you've already got the default, so you can always restore there if you need to. So don't even worry about it. Once you're done with all that, reboot. Okay, that way it sets everything into effect. And then you're basically just going to watch and look for instability. Any flickering, crashes, anything like that whatsoever, okay? And that's really all there is to it. Now, if you back out, below the SC Wizard, there's the software installer. You want the FPS locker patches, okay? So make sure you're connected to the internet, hit install. You definitely want this. It's going to take a little bit. It might hang at 24% for a minute or two. Just let it do its thing. It will eventually finish. Mission control, I wouldn't even mess with it. Wouldn't mess with it. Wouldn't mess with it. You need Linkoho. I might have already installed it, but even if I did, this will update it. So definitely do that. This links you to a fake Nintendo account, okay? Because you're basically going to want to unlink your Nintendo account that carried over from your real system, and you're going to want to delete that user. You're going to want to create a new user and then use Linkoho to link it to a new account, okay? Don't mess with that. Don't mess with that. This is if you want to simulate amiibos. You could do it, but it has some conflicting issues with other sys modules, so I just left it off. This goes with it, though. Now, Studious Pancake, definitely install this. This allows you to reboot to either stock firmware but with custom firmware running, or the MMC. And you can just reboot right into one of those three using this. That's very nice. JKSV is a save manager, similar to Checkpoint. Definitely install that. This allows you to access your microSD wirelessly. I would definitely install this, and I'll show you how to use it. Master volume, if you want the volume a little louder, you could install this. Like, I had it installed, and I just, instead of 1.0, I raised master volume to 1.1 just to get everything a little louder. That's up to you. And that's NX Gallery. You definitely want NX Gallery. That allows you, yeah, and I'll show you in a second here. Okay, system tweaks. These just basically leave them how they are. I turned all these off in all-in-one updater, status monitor. Yeah, all this should be just left as is. Don't even mess with it. Video capture is set to 60 FPS now with 20 megabyte per second bit rate. So, you know, you could lower this and get longer videos, though. Disable background services. That's nice if you're like in the official firmware, but with custom firmware running, you could do that. And then this just clears the logs from time to time because they build up. So there you go. Now, if we hit B to go back, okay, here's our list again. Now you can see when we overclock, it's on a per game basis, right? So let's say I open, I don't know, Captain Toad. Actually, let's open Ni no Kuni. Oh, that's not installed. Where's one that had frame rate issues? Fire Emblem Three Houses. That had an unlocked frame rate, right? Watch this. GPU, I'm gonna bump that up. 768 is the stock GPU for docked. Handheld is 307 or 384. CPU is 1020 for both docked and handheld stock. I'm gonna do 1224 just for now. Okay. Now, when I'm done with that, I'm gonna go to status monitor, micro, and it's gonna tell me up at the top the FPS, okay? Let me see if I can get it in view. FPS, how much of the CPU is being used, how much of the GPU is being used, how much of the RAM is being used, and basically your power draw and how much battery and time you have left remaining. Now let's just see if I can hold a steady 60 on this. See, I pulled in all my saves from my official firmware with custom firmware running, and I injected them in here. So where do I go now? Sure. I just want to see. I don't freaking know. We're good. Let's go. Fight. Okay. Now look at the frame rate up here. Okay? In fact, watch this. There's the graph. Look at that. It's holding 60. Now if we want, I can go here and see what's maxing out. My GPU is at 33. My CPU is at 80. So it looks like my CPU and GPU are kind of high, right? So I might need to up them. Yeah, especially GPU. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. And another thing I could do. Reverse NX RT. Change system control. Right now it's outputting handheld. If I hit this, I can suddenly output docked. Bam. And maybe you'll notice the difference here. But handheld. Whoa, I'm getting docked. Now let's see what our frame rate is. 25. So if we wanted to do this, we would really need to increase the overclock, you know? So I wouldn't advise that, because you'd really have to crank this sucker up, you know? You'd probably have to go to 9. I mean, hell, you'd probably even have to go to here. You know, like that's what you'd probably have to do. And even then, it probably isn't enough, you know? Yeah, it's just not enough, man. So, this is just a game where you don't want to output docked, okay? There you go. Back to handheld. Back to here. We can drop this down. I'll take it to 14. 844. There we go. And now we're holding pretty close to 60, right? Gotta love it, right? All right. So that's how you do that, right? You can also do cheats. Like, here's a 60 FPS cheat right here. Let's give that a shot, huh? Oh, I lost. Huh. That sucks. Look at this, 60. Haven't played this in a while, you know? Oh yeah, look at that. Nice stable 60. Now I wonder if we changed it, would it still hold 60, you know? Yeah. Heck yeah. Oh no. Never mind. Never mind. I thought we could get it, you know. I thought we could, but that's okay, man. Some games you just aren't meant to output docked, you know. So, here's the thing. If you want to access Homebrew, what you want to do is launch a game that's installed by holding the R button. Okay? R, not ZR. What did I do? So hold R and hit A. Keep holding R. Homebrew menu. Okay? Now, what you want to do here, 90 DNS setter, absolute must. Okay, this sets up 90 DNS to block Nintendo servers on your Immunand. Then you use 90 DNS testing to make sure it's all blocked. Not connected to network, airplane mode. Oh, okay. Let's try that again. Whoops. I didn't want to set it. Let's do the testing. Oh, shit. That's not good. That's not good at all. I need to run this test, man. So what does this say? Yep, X to apply to all Wi-Fi networks. Y to reboot the system. And then you'll see I press the volume key. Watch. This is how I get into Hikari. Boom, right there. Okay. I recommend going to Tools. Console Info, Hardware and Fuses. Okay. This is where you get your speedos. Right? CPU speedo. I got 1587. Right? GPU 1587, SoC 1601. So, but that's where you find out. But the most important thing, more than the speedos, okay, is this here. The type of RAM you have, or the type of chip. I have a Samsung AA MGCL. Those are pretty good. So yeah, anyways, that's how you do it. And I would dump everything. Like I'd dump your fuses, your Cal 0 info. I would come in and I would dump that. I would go into tools. You could back up your MMC home. So you could go to NIC settings. Color theme, home screen, you know, you could do all kinds of stuff, save options if you want, but what you really want is options, auto boot on. I want it to auto boot to custom firmware on my MMC, because that's where I'm going to be playing most of my games, okay? But I don't want 3 seconds. I want 1 second, so it's faster. I want no auto, or auto no GC. Okay, that says it checks fuses and applies the patch automatically if higher firmware. It's now a global config and set at auto by default. So we want to turn that on. Update reboot to payload. Sure. Yeah, there we go. You can turn your backlight, you know, a little brighter if you want. Make sure you save when you're done. Okay. Console info. You go to lockpick. You definitely want to do this to back up your stuff. Okay, so you use volume up and volume down to navigate, and power is your enter key. So let me see. There's volume up and volume down. Here's what you want to do. The top says dump from sysnand. I know you can't read it, Gosh dang it. It says dump from sysnan though, okay? There it is. And what we want to do, you don't want to dump from emunand, right? Hit the power key, okay? And power. And it's going to dump your product keys from sysnam, okay? You definitely want to do this. Dump everything you can. Back up your emunand, like back up every freaking thing, dude. It's just as a safety measure. But because it is hard modded, like you'll always be able to get into Hikari, right?